All right, what's up, guys? So in this video, I'm going to talk about, is rank and rent saturated in 2026? I am somebody that's been doing this business model for over 11 years. And in the last 6 months alone, I built over 150 rank and rent sites, which you can see here. Here's all the calls that I'm generating each and every single day. I'm generating over 100 calls every day. And in 2026, I launched my very own coaching program where my students are already getting excellent results. Here's Maurice that just got another wood flooring lead a few days ago. He says the process is working. So this is the question that most people have when starting an online business. If you've been doing it for 11 years, how is it not saturated? And so in this video, I'm going to go into details as to why rank and rent is still the best opportunity for most people trying to start a real online business, and why this model is more protected against oversaturation compared to other online business models. And it has big reasons to do with the fact that in this business, you can diversify your business from day one. And I'm going to explain a little bit more in detail. But let me first explain why other online business models face saturation problems. And the reason for that is most online business models have a common choke point, which means there's like a narrow factor to succeed. I look at it almost like akin to the Strait of Muse. Whenever there is a choke point in a business where all the other players in that game has to go through, that point, once it gets saturated, it makes it harder for everybody else to pass through that point. For example, Amazon FBA. The choke point for this business is the fact that there's only so many products that are going to be listed on the first page for every Amazon product. And because this is global competition and you're competing with big players from China and other places overseas, you're going up against giants. These listings have hundreds, if not thousands of reviews already. And user reviews pretty much rule the platform. And user reviews cannot be faked. It cannot be fabricated. And some listings have accrued those reviews over the course of several years at this point. For most categories, you're going up against listings with tons of reviews, making it extremely difficult for a new seller to get organic traffic, because without reviews, your listings will never rank. Let's take, for example, the AI automation agency. What is the common choke point with that is the fact that with an agency model, you have to first cold outreach business owners and get them interested in working with you, whether it's AI automation, whether you're trying to sell them PPC or SEO. And because you have to do cold outreach, everybody else that's trying to create an AI automation agency or any type of agency is also using the same strategies of cold outreach. Most times it's cold email outreach or cold outreach on LinkedIn. That's, again, another common choke point when everybody is using these methods to outreach to business owners. Many of these business owners you decide to reach out with this method have already been contacted by agency owners many times before you. And with so many tools out there right now for cold outreach with AI and different tools that allows you to scrape emails of various niches, industries, and businesses with a click of a button, there's already been many people that have reached out to these business owners over and over again, which makes it harder and harder for new people trying to do AI automation agency to actually get a business owner's attention. E-commerce, it is globalized competition, meaning for the average person trying to start an e-com brand, you're at a significant disadvantage because e-com is a zero-sum game. Whoever has the better product, the better prices, will gobble up most of the market share. And in most product categories, there's already big players with more resources than you, with more connections than you, with suppliers, and being able to get high quality products cheaper than you, making it extremely difficult for you to compete with. Remember, with e-commerce, it's leveraging the internet, but now you're faced with the negative consequences of an internet game, because now you're having to compete with companies from overseas and e-com brands that have connections overseas to China and different places like that are going to have much more advantages than you. So internet is great in that it allows you to participate in the global market, but it's also a detriment because you're having to compete with big players all over the world. So this is why, again, I like local lead gen, because I don't have to compete with global competition. I only get to compete with local companies. In any business that relies on paid ads, there's a massive choke point there as well, whether it's drop shipping or you're running paid ads for businesses. Because paid ads platform only rely on your ability to spend money, Unlike SEO, which is what I do, which is more skill based, when it's only about spending money, then you're having to compete with anybody that have access to a credit card and anybody willing to spend, which means that over time, there's going to be more advertisers. And when the number of advertisers increases, it also increases your cost per click because it's a bidding system, which means over time, your ads become less profitable. Again, the choke point is the fact that there's only so many advertisers that can be seen on at the top of that page. When there's more and more advertisers trying to advertise, it only increases the price of those ads. Now let's take, for example, the rank and rent business. The fact that diversification is built into this business model makes this business model extremely flexible, resilient, and nimble. So let me explain. If you invest a bunch of money into e-commerce products or Amazon FBA products, and you spend $10,000 in that inventory, well, you're stuck with that niche, you're stuck with that business. And you better hope that you make that work to get your money back. And so you might spend the next 6 months to a year trying to do everything possible to make sure you sell those inventory to be profitable. Whereas with Rank and Rent, from day one, we're building sites in different cities, different niches. I tell every student of mine to build 10 Rank and Rent sites right from the beginning. And each website's only $20 a month to maintain, $10 a month for the hosting, $10 a month for the call tracking. This means there is no singular choke point, because if one site, one niche was more saturated than you expected and you have a hard time making money with that, you got 9 other sites that can make you money. I just did an interview with a student from Canada, Dustin, and he's making $15K per month with 30 to 40 websites. And I asked him, what's the one thing you would have done differently if you could start over? And he said he would have built 10 rank and rent sites right from the beginning. In my coaching program, I'm having every student post their first 10 picks inside our group chat, and I'm reviewing every student's picks so that you get off on the right foot. In all the years that I've been teaching this model, I've never seen any student not make money if they have 10 websites going. And we already did the math. Even if you are 30% success rate with the 10 sites you build, which means only 3 out of the 10 sites start making you money, and let's say each one of those sites conservatively makes $500 per month, you're already making $1,500 per month at $20 per site in cost. Across 10 sites, that's $200. You're still $1,300 in profit, which means then you can take that money and build 10 more sites. And next time, maybe you are 60% success rate. As long as you keep going on that path, you cannot lose in this business. And once you get to 30 rank and rent sites, what I've seen is that for most people, that's enough sites to change your life to be able to walk away from your 9 to 5 for good. Because at 30 rank and rent sites, even if each site makes you the lowest amount possible, which is $300 per month, this is enough sites to where you're already making $9,000 per month at only $600 a month in cost. Some sites will make $750 per month. So let's just average out the difference. Let's say all the sites make you about $500 a month. That's around $15K per month when you have 30 rank and rent websites, which is the exact numbers that Dustin has reported. Rank and rent allows you to participate in almost a asymmetric warfare, which is pretty much what Iran is doing right now. Iran has thousands of drones that are only $10,000 each, but it takes the US military in Israel, the Iron Dome, $1 million to shoot down one drone, meaning that Iran can participate in the war of attrition and actually win this war. By the way, I'm totally anti-war type of guy. I think this war is really stupid, and it could potentially lead to the downfall of the US empire. In times of warfare, when you study different types of war, you realize that the opponent that is able to be more resourceful, flexible, and nimble will have the upper hand. And that's the downside of a large empire, right? They are too cocky. They're not as flexible. Even though they got more resources and bigger, badder weapons, they can be taken out by a nation that are a lot more nimble, a lot more flexible. We saw that with Vietnam. So this is one of the main things that I love about the rank and rent business, is that you can be in so many different niches, so many different cities at the same time. And because each one of these sites only costs $20 a month, but they can make easily at the bare minimum $300 a month. You can play the numbers game in this business. And anytime you have a business or a plan of attack where you can exercise the law of numbers, success becomes inevitable as long as you don't quit. Iran is able to exercise the law of numbers because their drones are more efficient. As long as Iran doesn't quit, they will not lose the war. They can continue to launch thousands of drones, and eventually Iran and Israel's protection will not be able to hold up. So if you take a page out of what they're doing and understand that, for example, like most online businesses like e-com and stuff like that is very heavy. It's very cumbersome. There's a lot of overhead. You have to buy inventory. It does not allow you to be nimble. But with these lead gen sites, you can launch 10, 20, 30 of these websites, especially with given my guidance and my SEO skills. It's only a matter of time before you hit $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month, and be able to walk away from your job for good and have a life of freedom, because once these sites rank, they don't require any more maintenance and they'll keep making money for you. Another thing that I should mention is that Google algorithm is a comparative search engine, meaning that if you have superior SEO skills, you have a lot less saturation, a lot less competition. If your SEO skills are 20 to 30% better than most people building these local sites, you can still outrank companies that have already done SEO, but because you're employing some more advanced SEO tactics, you can still beat them. This is what makes SEO way different than paid ads. There's no skill involved. It's whoever is willing to spend more money. With SEO, Google's algorithm is more like a black box. It's not quite clear for anybody doing SEO how their algorithm is precisely working at all times. We can make inferences and we can make good estimated guesses. And only through a lot of testing and years of experience do you really begin to understand Google's algorithm at an intimate level. So when I have 11 years of experience doing SEO and local lead generation, I have a massive advantage against the competition. I also built epay.com, which ranks for global keywords. And on that site alone, I have 2,000 pages. So building epay.com actually gave me a lot of knowledge and made me very high level in SEO. Google has over 200 patents that govern their rankings. And now I understand that some of the algorithms only work in certain situations while they prefer other algorithms in other situations. So to understand all of this, it's just not that feasible for a brand new beginner. Which is why after doing this for 11 years and so many people have most likely built and tried Rank and Rent, for me personally, I don't have any saturation issues because I can still go into 99% of markets out there and go dominate. Let's take, for example, over here, we can search hardwood flooring, Pasadena, California. You can see my website ranked at the top, PasadenaEliteFlooring.com. This is my site. It outranked Custom Hardwood Floors, Pasadena.com. Both are using pretty much exact match domains, but I built a lot better content and I do much better job of topical coverage on my site. This is very surface level concepts, but it gets much, much deeper the more you study how Google's bots are processing language. Google has had large language models for a long time, even way before ChatGPT. These days, I'm able to rank a lot of sites even without backlinks, understanding these concepts. And there's other advanced concepts to understand as well, such as reducing the cost of information retrieval, increasing unique information gain, understanding how to create proper site radiuses, understanding the value of UI design and how to increase user behavior signals. And I find that most people are still operating on SEO that's been talked about for the last 5 years ago, 10 years ago, which is about just finding keywords, building pages, writing good content, and building backlinks. If this is your only knowledge about SEO, then yes, a lot of rank and rent cities and niches are going to feel saturated for you, because you're doing the same outdated basic SEO strategies that people have known about for the last 10 years. This leads me into an overarching theme of any business sector has gotten more saturated over time, right? It's only the people that have been able to innovate new strategies and new tactics are the ones that can dominate into the future. So when you ask, is Rank and Rant saturated? The question you should ask is, what is the most cutting edge strategies of ranking these sites in 2026? Because as long as you have the most cutting edge strategies to rank these sites, you're not gonna have saturation. Also, one thing to keep note is the fact that majority of local sites were built by web developers, not by SEOs. That's what you'll find in many different niches, many different cities. A lot of these sites are not truly SEO optimized. And because there's so many cities and so many niches with the rank and rent model, there's still plenty of markets where the websites are on page one, but they've hardly have any SEO optimization. These are going to be very easy victories, easy competition. And I'm here to tell you that in 2026, you can still find plenty of these markets where you shouldn't be worried about the competition. Again, this is why having a skill-based business model is why I still continue to dominate rank and rent, and it's still a great business model for me even after doing this for 11 years. Whereas a lot of these other online business models like Amazon FBA, there is no innovation or skill that I can acquire that allows me to be other listings with tons of user reviews on it already. With paid ads, there is no skill that I can develop that allows me to drastically reduce my cost per click when there's tons of advertisers bidding for that keyword. With e-commerce, there is no skill that I can have that allows me to source products that are better and cheaper than what all the big players are doing already. With AI automation agency, there isn't any skill that I can leverage that allows me to cold outreach to business owners that's never been cold outreached before. I'm going to have to use the same tactics of scraping emails from different directories and Google Map listings and LinkedIn and Facebook groups and different things like that where all the other people have already tried those things. This is why I love SEO. I love ranking websites in Google and generating free traffic, because it gives you the most amount of consistent results over time, the time freedom. And when it's a skill-based business, if you are willing to spend the time to learn that skill at a deeper level than most other people, it allows you to get amazing results at less cost. And if you look at the term SEO, since 2004, it has only gone up in demand. What I see the future for SEO and rank and rent is the fact that AI will replace a lot of entry-level positions for engineering, a lot of white-collar jobs, media, law. However, AI will not replace any blue-collar jobs. So I can see in the future that more and more people will start blue-collar type of businesses like flooring, concrete, roofing, and all those guys are going to need lead generation. They're going to need SEO. They're going to want rank and rent sites. So in my opinion, rank and rent, we're well positioned into the future. Every single rank and rent site that I build, I intend for all those sites to be making passive income for me for the next 10, 15 years. So if you're on the fence about rank and rent, now is a great time to get started. I just launched my brand new coaching program this year in January. I have about 100 students so far. I'm able to offer a lot of personalized attention and guidance to my students. So to find out more info about my program, click the link in the description. Otherwise, subscribe and ask me any questions in the comments. I will address them personally myself. Talk to you guys soon.